Valerie Tryon, has given recitals and concerto performances all around the world. She was one of the youngest students ever to be accepted to study at the Royal Academy of Music and has won many prizes and accolades for her playing, including the Harriet Cohen Medal. So I'm delighted she's taken the time today to join me for one of my classical conversations here in London, where she's been recording the Rachmaninoff's first piano concerto with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. Welcome.
Hello, Melanie.
Lovely to chat to you here. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to start by talking all about your musical education. What age were you when you started? What was the catalyst, and whether you come from a musical family?
My mother was a pianist and a singer, and she was an actress. She had so many talents.
Gosh.
My father loved music, but his art lay with painting and drawing. So I suppose you could say that I did have artistic parents.
Yes, very much so.
But I don't know. I know that I started playing when I was 4. My mother told me. I tried to push her off the piano stool. That's how it started. And it hasn't finished now that I'm 102.
And so which teacher then do you think was crucial in your development, or maybe most helpful?
Well, the first teacher I had was across the road. My mother thought, I think, that it would be better for me to have lessons from someone other than the family. And so she sent me across the road to Mr. Lawrence, who said hello to me and let me in and sat me at the piano, and then went upstairs and did his ablutions. And I heard him shaving, and and then he would come down after I'd finished the piece and say, "Very nice, Valerie. Now next week I want you to play this." That was my first.
Your introduction.
Yes, but my mother taught me as well. And then I went to a Mr. Whittaker at Leeds College of Music, and he was a teacher of the Maté method.
Oh yes, yeah.
And that, I think, is my blessing, because I've never ever had a single problem with my arms and fingers, as some pianists usually get something, tendinitis. But I think the Maté method has saved me from that.
Right.
Because it was all natural from the beginning. I didn't have to learn it.
Right.
I had the relaxation given to me.
Well, that was my next question, because I've had the good fortune to hear you so many times, and you have what seems to me to be an effortless technique. And I was going to ask how you developed that.
Well, it isn't effortless, actually.
It looks effortless. It really does.
I do work hard.
I know, I'm sure, but it's amazing.
But I have learned how to do stuff without making too much effort and without getting stiff.
Perhaps you'd like to explain a bit about that, the technique.
The technique?
Yes.
Well, there is a book, I think, about Maté, and I think Myra Hess was a Maté student, and Maura Limpany, I believe. They all had this basic technique taught them when they were little. I only remember there was this kind of things for practicing, and the weight falling on the keys, and your fingertips taking the weight. And in my recent years, I found that the most important thing, which I never realized too, was just common sense, really, to see where it is that the problem is, and to figure out the best way of dealing with that. I mean, it might be the fingering, or it might be the way your arm is going, or it might be all kinds of things. But if you can work it out, then you can deal with the problem.
Sort it out. But it's to do with you make a beautiful sound. It's obviously to do with the arm weight.
Yes, probably.
Yes. That's very interesting. And you made your debut whilst you were very young.
Yes.
So do you encourage young pianists to get a lot of performance practice when they're young? Do you think that's a good idea, to be exposed to performing at a young age?
I don't know. I used to play for all kinds of short things. I used to play things like the Minute Waltz, and I played with a little orchestra called the Henry Crowdson String Orchestra. But I didn't play actually with them. I had solos in between with the orchestra. But the things that worried me then were whether I'd go on the right way, and whether I'd bow properly, or whether I'd fall over the wires on the way out. I never actually worried about playing.
You didn't worry about playing at all?
But now, of course, it's the opposite way around. Sometimes wish I could trip over something.
Oh dear. You're a major prize winner at the Liszt
No,
piano
I
competition.
wasn't.
You weren't?
No, I wasn't a major prize winner. I don't know how this ever came about, but I feel embarrassed about it.
It's on your
because
biography, isn't it?
It does it say that?
Yes.
Well, I never put that.
But you played in the competition, I
Oh yeah, I
presume.
got a prize.
Yes, yes.
But it wasn't one of the main ones. They actually, Annie Fisher was on the jury, and I believe Maura Limpany too. It was a very distinguished jury.
Sounds like that.
And there were 4 of us in the competition that they felt deserved a prize, although it wasn't on the menu, as it were. So the main prizes were there. Laza Berman was 3rd in this competition. And they added the 4. There was Annie Petit, she was a French girl, me, I think somebody called Loshansky, who was a Hungarian, and I can't remember the other one. But we were all given this one, added on to
special
the
prize.
Yes, which was called Hors Concours, out of the competition.
Okay.
And there was money too. I was able to spend lots of money and take stuff home. So it was lovely.
Did you find that it kind of shaped and changed your career, being, winning this prize, or did you?
No.
It didn't. It didn't kind of
Nothing's
give you
changed my
more
career.
concerts. No.
No, nothing. I've had rave reviews, it hasn't made any difference. I've had bad reviews, that hasn't made any difference. Nothing. I just plod along the same way.
Keep
Yes.
going, playing
Yes.
wonderful concerts. You've got a huge, major repertoire. You play so many different composers. Which composers are you drawn to?
The ones I think I play best are probably the Romantics. I feel more at home with the Romantics. I love Bach, but it frightens me to death. I love Mozart, I love Haydn, I love, love Beethoven, Schubert, I love them all. I'm totally promiscuous, I love all of them. And the ones I'm playing at the time are my favourites.
Sure.
But I feel, comfortable with Chopin and Liszt and Brahms even. And also the Impressionists. I feel very comfortable with them. Partly, I suppose, because I had lessons with Jacques Fevrier, and he gave me the lowdown on style.
So you studied with him in Paris,
Yes.
I believe. Yes. And you've recorded and performed the complete Debussy
Yes.
piano music.
Yes. And Ravel.
And Ravel.
Yes.
Why? What attracts you to this style? Is it the sound?
I feel very thrilled with the colours, for one thing. I love the mystery and the resonant, the differences in the colours that you can make, and the vagueness and the rhythm, because I think that's important, very important. Fevrier told me Ravel didn't like his music sentimentalized at all. He liked it to be heartfelt and very expressive, but not overdone, so that the phrases would flow on to the next without stopping. That kind of
interesting.
thing. Yes.
You were awarded the Ferenc Liszt Medal of Honor in 1986 by the Hungarian Ministry of
Yes,
Culture.
that was nice.
Yes, for your interpretation of Liszt. Now, I know you love Liszt, so what attracts you to his style?
I think it's just he appeals to my soul in some way. Well, they all do, but I think he has some special harmonic chime somehow. That I love his poetry, and I don't have any particular love for the histrionics and the flamboyant Liszt, but I do love the poetic side.
Yes. And tell us about your love for Scarlatti, because I know you play a lot of the sonatas.
I love Scarlatti. Yes.
And very difficult repertoire, actually.
You have to be very on the ball, don't you, with that?
It's incredibly.
Yes, you can't make a mistake.
No.
And you can't flub anything. It has to be right there.
Dead on.
Well, I just love the rhythm and the whole thing. I wouldn't like to play it on the harpsichord.
That was my next question. Have you tried it on the harpsichord?
I wouldn't like that.
No.
Because the piano
no.
is so perfect.
Yes.
And for Bach, too.
Yes, that's
I
true.
don't think you can compare it. I'm sure Bach would have loved the piano. And the pedal.
Yes. Bach with pedal.
Yes.
So which venues have you really enjoyed performing in around the world?
Mostly my own home. I don't...
We should say you live in Canada now, and you've lived
Yes.
there for quite a few years, haven't you?
Yes. I've always felt more at home in the recording studio than in a hall.
That's interesting.
I like the privacy of a recording studio, and although you're giving to an audience and they're giving back, it's more stressful for me.
Performing in concerts.
Yes.
Although you always look so incredibly relaxed.
It's all an act.
What exciting plans have you got for the future?
Future, well, I have this recording that I'm just doing. I hope that will come out nicely.
I'm sure it will. Have you recorded the other concertos as well?
No.
Oh.
I've never recorded. The last concerto I did were 2 Mozarts and a rondo, which I liked so much. I love playing Mozart. I really enjoyed that. But I haven't done any of the Beethoven, and that is partly because I'd leave it to other people, I think. I always feel, I know it sounds funny, but I feel that I'm a woman when I play Beethoven. It doesn't affect any other composer, but it's like my adverse feelings towards women pilots. It's something very weird inside me. I'd rather have a man pilot. and
a man playing Beethoven.
Yes.
That's interesting. So have you never recorded the concertos?
No.
Really?
No.
But you must have played them.
I played them a lot, yes.
Not recorded them.
No.
What does playing the piano mean to you?
Well, I really can't imagine not playing the piano. All these years I've played the piano. If some people say, "Are you going to retire?" And I have all my faculties. I mean, I have still my brain, I think, and my fingers still work. And I feel that unless something happens to cripple me, I shall just go on playing, because it would feel very strange if I didn't. I don't know how I would feel. I think I'd feel as if my raison d'etre had gone.
Yes, I can understand that. Well, that's good, because you're one of my favourite pianists. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.